Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Hello and a good Friday to everyone out there watching and listening. This is Run It Back. I am Michelle Beadle. That is Lou Will. Chandler is out trying to stay safe as we are here in Los Angeles. And for the foreseeable future, we will probably start every single show with please try and stay safe out there. Be careful. It's a horrible situation, and it's not ending anytime soon. So we will, once again, try to do a little distraction here, a little basketball hoops talk for you. Never too early to talk about, you know, some all-star stuff, if we may, a little headline action. We got the second installment of fan voting, and here good Lord. You got your glasses on? Can you see it? Anything stand out?
You got the laptops.
I know, right? If we just look at it right off the top, what stands out?
First things first, to me, what stands out is LaMelo Ball leading the guards.
Okay.
You know, the emergence of LaMelo Ball. And dare I say it.
Dare you?
Do we think that Jello Ball is having an impact on voting?
Who could have seen this
with
coming?
With him going viral with the new song, LaMelo, and everything.
So everyone's feeling like the Ball brothers?
The Ball brothers are back on top. I think this is, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And I think the brothers are impacting each other.
Because that's a lot of votes.
That's a ton of votes, but he's earned it. You know, he's playing out of his mind, this young guy. This is a season where he's turned the corner. He's showing a lot of his leadership, trying to lead this young Charlotte Hornets team to as many wins as he can. He's out there playing fun, as you can see.
That is just the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Pick-up basketball, shooting one-legged threes and throwing the ball off the backboard and doing everything he can to, you know, entertain fans and at the same time try to impact winning as best as he can down there in Charlotte. So that's one of the things that stand out to me. Another thing that I'm seeing is Giannis leading the pack with the front court guys, with the other guards on the other side. I think that's exciting as well, especially coming from how we started the season with the Milwaukee Bucks and the things that they were going through. For them to be able to right that ship and have Giannis being a lead vote getter in his category, those are the two things that stand out to me right away.
I mean, I'm just looking at the number of votes, too. It's kind of crazy. I'm wondering if there's someone who's going to miss out, right? Because we know sort of the breakdown of the voting and the starters and whatnot. Yeah. By the way, Jokic has like a 300,000 vote lead over Kevin Durant. It is, some of these discrepancies in the votes are insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, you know, what it comes down to. You know, for me, I'm looking at, you know, guys like Kyrie Irving or James Harden at number 6, who's having a great year. The TRAE Young at number 5, who's having a great year. The gap between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown at 2 and 5 in the voting. That's where it's gonna get a little tricky. You know, I would also like to see the Houston Rockets show up for Sengun. You know, the year that he's having, the season that he's putting him back in a competitive position. The Houston Rockets are in the conversation of being one of the better Western Conference teams. I would love for that fan base to get behind him and run these votes up and see through it to make sure that he gets in for sure as an all-star starter. That would be great to see as well.
He's a million votes behind Anthony Davis at 5.
Yeah, but you know, that comes from fan base, that comes from building. You know, obviously he's a guy, he's one of our overseas all-star guys. So his hometown, his home country, they got to show up for him. And the Houston Rockets, they got to show up for him as well down there in Houston.
I have a question. Like when this part of the year starts up, in the locker room, or if you're any one of these men on these lists, are you even paying attention? And are you sort of looking at numbers going, how am I that far behind? Or how am I that far ahead? Like, is that being noticed?
It's a personality thing. I've played with guys who could care less about fan voting, and I've seen guys put together full-fledged campaigns to make sure that they do some votes, whether it's going to be a funny campaign or shoot a skit or do something like that, or being super active on social media. I've seen both sides of the spectrum.
Really? Wait, absolutely. Because I've seen the teams, right? Like the teams are going all out. They've got videos, and it's very nice, actually. Most of the teams are doing a good job. But like, who's done that? Like, I need to know who, because I kind of love that about someone.
I'll tell you somebody who, you know, who's appreciative of All-Star Weekend and All-Star voting, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Kawhi Leonard is that guy.
Okay.
You know, his eye is always on the prize of trying to win an NBA championship. He never really cared about the frivolities of the season and what comes with that. He just wants to win. He wants to get to the end of the season, compete for another ring. So he's one of those guys that he could care less. He's not going to do a lot of promoting himself, a lot of campaigning. He's going to go out there and just try to win as many games as he can. If these rewards come with that, then so be it.
It's like a fun, just an additional.
He's the fun guy. He's the original fun guy.
Okay, so let's look at, I mean, we know obviously this year the All-Star Game's going to have that crazy wonky format with the 4 teams. One of them's the winner of the Rising Star. It's just, it's a lot, which is fine. You know, we'll try it out, see if it works. We'll give it a shot. But I'm looking at the star power at the top. So if you look at the West and the East.
Yep.
I mean, I know what you're going to say. But looking at that, are you just bummed that it's not just East versus West?
It should be just East versus West, right? Like, let's go old school. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. I'm curious to see what the fan reaction is going to be, you know, especially when you add the G League guys in. You know, no disrespect to them, but this is All-Star Weekend. This is supposed to be, you know, something coveted. And so I'm just curious when the games begin to start to play, you know, those guys, this is a great moment for them. They're going to be excited, and they're going to want to play hard. They're going to want to compete at the highest level. They're playing against the NBA All-Stars and superstars of our league. They're going to try to show and prove when they're on that national stage. So what happens if one of our All-Star teams get knocked out and
it's going to happen.
And your final team is the G League All-Stars, you know, versus your NBA All-Stars? What is the fan reaction going to be with that? You know, so I'm curious to see how this all plays out, but all in all, I would love to see it go back to an old school format, just the East versus West. It
is fun. If you just scour this list, some of the names that are obviously brand new to a list like this, it's very fun to look. But I want to figure out why. Let's be voting experts for a second. Front court votes, numbers-wise, are like eclipsing guards voting numbers.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
This is interesting to me. I thought this was a guards league. Maybe there's a changing of the guard. Maybe we're going back to those old school days when we had a bunch of front court guys and bigs that were running the league. But you got to give that credit to NIKOLA Jokic. You know, he's been a standout for seasons on to come. He's looking at an opportunity to possibly win another MVP and be in the running for that. Then he's brought a lot of fans to the game. He's brought a lot of attention and a lot of new eyes on the game, and you give him that credit. Other than that, you know, Kevin Durant is going to be a household name. LeBron James is going to be a household name. On the East, you know, Giannis and Jason Tatum. Karl Anthony Towns is kind of a new guy.
Big one.
That's in a new market that, you know, New York, they're showing up for Karl Anthony Towns, him sitting at third with nearly, you know, 2 million votes. And Paolo Banchero is another guy. I would like to see him break that 1.5 million threshold just so the fan bases can show up and, you know, we can get some new energy at the top here.
Just for the record, because my dream is America versus the world. Like, I still think that would be fun to watch. And if you go off the lists right now, 3 of the top 4 people are internationally born players. So I'm just saying, just maybe we start that sooner rather than later. Thank you. Okay, we had some games last night. It actually happened, Lou. Basketball was being played out there.
Let's talk about it.
Rockets and Grizzlies up first. Sengun, the guy you just talked about, fueling his team. Big win, 119-113. He finished with 32, 14, and 5. Jalen Green had 27 points, and Ja Morant in 29 minutes had 27, 3, and 3. It's fun. These are 2 fun young teams in the West. The ground is being held by the 2-seed Houston Rockets in the West right now. I know the Cavs, maybe they're not that surprising to some, or maybe they're just not as surprising as perhaps this Rockets team. How big on the surprise list do you have them?
Really surprising, just the way that this season has gone. You know, this is a team that was all the way out of the playoffs last year in the Houston Rockets. The Memphis Grizzlies were out of the playoffs last year. Now you look up, and they're putting a lot of pressure on these teams that we thought were going to be in the running to win the championship. You know, you look at it, you look at the standings now, all of these young teams that are up and coming, they're here now. They've arrived. This is no longer a coming out party. These teams are here to take them serious. You know, we're leaning on, we're going into tongue-tied.
Hold on, let's breathe.
All right.
Okay.
We're getting close to 40 games. We're getting to that halfway point right now. So none of these things are flukes anymore. The Houston Rockets aren't a fluke anymore. You know, what OKC has been able to do, what the Memphis Grizzlies have been able to do. You know, these are teams that are turning their corner. They're going to put a lot of pressure at the top. So no surprises here. You know, you got to give respect where it's due. The only surprise I got is Dylan Brooks right there shooting that 3 like that and looking at everybody in the crowd. Other than that, this team has been playing lights out.
I love it. I love that so much. So the West is crazy, right? Because it's OKC, it's Houston, it's Memphis. That's what your top 3 are looking like at the moment. And we have these mental blocks, I think, when we start looking at standings. And yeah, it's relatively early, but like you said, we're in it now. And yet, I don't know that anyone's looking at the Rockets and thinking, yes, they are ready to actually contend in the West.
They should.
Okay.
They should. They have all the pieces. They got great coaching at the top. They got a lot of young players. They got a lot of young, motivated players, and they have veteran leadership in Fred VanVleet and everything that they've been able to build. So they check all of the boxes. This is a defensive-minded team. They're a tough team. As many skirmishes as they've gotten into this year, they're telling you, we ready to play basketball. We ready to fight. We down for whatever y'all with. We with it. So we're one of those teams that we're going to show up to the arena night in and night out, and we're going to be able to compete. We're going to be able to fight, and we're going to do everything that we can to put ourselves in the position that we're in right now.
Wow, plus 1,500 to win the Western Conference. Those are fun numbers right there. Do they need to add?
It's a reason why that number's so high.
I mean, that's the best that I like to do. Do they need to add? We've talked a lot about how many pieces they have, and they're pretty well equipped if they did want to go out and do something. As is, are you good with it, or would you like to see a tweak?
I like it as is.
Right.
You know, even with them dealing with injuries, I would say probably beef up a little bit in the front court, but you have it. You have it in Jabari Smith. He's going to be out for a while with an injury, but you have those pieces. You have enough guys to go out and compete, and you don't want to rock the boat, especially when you got a team. You're already sitting at the top of the West with two other teams, and you're playing really good basketball going into the halfway point. Why even shake the boat? Stay where you are.
I agree with that too, because it's also depending on who you brought in. It really
absolutely it can mess up everything.
I mean, we see it in Minnesota. Sengun, this is shocking. He's only 22 years old. That's a little bit shocking for me to say out loud. And he's the best player on this team, and he's the only one right now that's even in the hunt to make an All-Star game, which would be his first one. Is it going to happen for him?
Absolutely, it should. It absolutely should. And I would even flirt with the idea of them having an opportunity to maybe get two guys in. But he's a for sure lock. Even if the fans don't vote him in, the coaches are going to do their due diligence. They're going to do their jobs and make sure this guy's been getting in. He's been one of the bright spots of the Houston Rockets. Just how his game's been able to grow. Every time we see him, he gets better, he gets better, he gets better, and his team gets better along with it. I don't see a scenario in where, you know, if the fans don't vote him in, where the coaches won't decide to absolutely give this guy a spot on one of these rosters.
He's averaging 19, 10, and 5. And again, America versus the world. He'd be a very nice addition to the world. Man, that team's stacked. I'm telling you, I put money on the world, Lou. I really want this to happen.
You know what? You're not out of bounds for thinking that. If I'm the NBA, I don't even flirt with the idea of having this game. This is an American-built
You
league.
don't want to get embarrassed?
Yeah, you don't want to get embarrassed. You know, a lot of our young stars, they are international guys. I think the American side, we have enough to hold it down as well, but you're putting yourself in a position for some unwanted PR. I would stay clear of that.
Couldn't we look at it as like, oh, that would be humbling? Maybe it would be some lessons learned.
No, we don't need humbling. We need growth in our game. We need the game to continue to grow so we can have a lot of positivity, a lot of guys talking about it, continue to put more and more eyes on the product. We don't need any more embarrassment.
I would love it so much. Ja Morant was in this one, his first game back, basically in a couple of weeks. He's only played 21 games so far this season. Numbers are obviously down as a result, part of that. He even said earlier in the season, and people were like, what? That he was going to try to tweak the game a little bit so it's not as physically taxing on his body. Are we seeing sort of the effects of the way he plays now? No,
not to me. I mean, he had a shoulder injury, and we saw the effect of what happened when he ran into that screen, right? That's not him jumping. That's not him being out of control. That's not him playing above the rim. That's running into a really solid screen, and you're having a shoulder issue because of that. And that affects everything, you know, your shoulders, your knees, your lower back. Those are parts of your body that really affect the way that you go out and play the basketball game. And so his numbers being down, I think that's a testament to it. But as you see his career go on, you'll see him start to evolve, start to play a little bit under the rim, play a smarter style of game. He won't run as fast. He'll start playing chess and not checkers. But at this point, I don't think that's what we're seeing. I think he had a real injury that he was dealing with, and it's going to take him some time to get back to the form that we're used to seeing him in.
So how does it work? Like if you were on his team, you were the vet on the team, would you offer advice, or would you wait for him to ask for advice? How would that work as far as his future?
No, this is something that he's going to see. You know, you're going to adjust. Every summer that I had, I would go into the summer and say, okay, what's changed? What did I experience that was different from the season before? And you get back in the lab and you go out and you work on those things, you know? So if I'm Ja Morant, I'm trying to add something to my bag every single summer. But look, see, this is a shot that I'm not accustomed to him seeing.
That's far.
You know, maybe that's something that he's trying to put in the bag. And then once you do that, you say, okay, how can I extend my career? How can I give myself as much time on a basketball court as I can? you know, and that's from taking contact. That's trying to figure out different ways. How can I get to the basket and still be effective around the rim without trying to dunk through everybody? Maybe I go up and I start to power up. Maybe I develop a 5-6 foot fadeaway jumper where I'm still getting in the lane. Maybe I put a floater in my game. Maybe I start posting up a little bit more. Those are just some little knickknacks that keeps you on the floor longer, and it gives you longevity in your career.
Yeah, we don't want to lose all of it.
Absolutely not. Just some of it, just to extend you a little bit.
Hawks Suns, another game that occurred in the evening. Suns big three win over Atlanta, 123-115. KD had 23 and 7. Beal with 25 points again led the team. Booker with 20, 12 assists. Trae Young had 21 points and 7 assists. And the big three was there. The scoring trio, though, also many, many assists coming out of the three of them. They combined for 68 points, 21 assists. I mean, we're just talking about how games change and things you try to tweak and make better. What do you think about these numbers for this three?
I thought it was a great night. It's confusing to me. I would love to see some consistency, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to see some consistency because you have games like this where you get excited about the Phoenix Suns and then they'll give you a dud and then you're right back to the drawing board. You know, Bradley Beal had another great night, led the team in scoring. But again, what are we going to get on a consistent daily basis from this Phoenix Suns team? Are they going to be a high and by team, or are they really going to put pressure on some of these rankings and put themselves in a position to be a playoff team and probably be wedding crashers? You know, if they can get in and sneak in at a 7 or 8 seed and put some pressure on these young teams that we keep talking about, the Houston Rockets of the world, the OKCs, that's what makes it interesting, but they don't play consistent enough for me to feel like
that would be such a combustible matchup if they snuck in at the end and then you had to face them as one of those young teams.
Absolutely.
That would suck, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Not for us. We'll enjoy it. But, yeah, that would just be a little bit daunting. By the way, Booker, 50 assists in his last 5 games, so that's something that's happening. Do you like the idea of him as like a point forward?
Well, they flirted with that idea last year, and it didn't work out. Let's see what happens now. You know, sometimes when you have a different identity, even when you're playing point guard, but you have somebody else on the floor that can make plays, that can facilitate, still having Tyus Jones there to be able to do that for you. But Devin Booker having the ball in his hands, being able to be aggressive, he's going to get better and better at it. But is this something that they can give us a steady diet of? It remains to be seen. But so far, so good. I don't mind it. 50 assists over the last 5 games for Devin Booker. I would prefer this number to be down. I would prefer him to be the guy we're putting the ball in his hands to go out and be aggressive and score the basketball and put points on the board, but this is impactful as well.
I mean, I guess if it works, it works. Just whatever works, do that. Kevin Durant, 20 or more points in 24 of the 26 games this season. He is averaging 27 a game. He's 36 years old. And look, I think for some, when they look back on KD, he is the most lethal pure scorer that the game's ever seen. Should more people be looking at him that way?
I thought that was put to bed already.
I feel like some people still, I don't know why. You know what I think happens, Lou? Sometimes people have an opinion on KD the person. For whatever reason. Like people mock the burner accounts. I never did. I thought it was amazing. And now he just does it outright, which is even cooler. But for some reason that bothered people, and they stopped looking at how great he was as a ball player.
Because we're lazy. we're lazy fans. You know, respect greatness. Kevin Durant is going to go down as one of the top tier scorers that we've ever seen at his size. The things that he's been able to do. He has some of the coolest nicknames in the world, and that's because of the way that he can score the basketball. He's an easy money sniper. He's a slim reaper. He's all of these things, and you can't stop him. He's unstoppable. At 7 feet, look at him. He can put the ball on the floor. One of the best shooters we've seen, and he's gotten to the point where in his career, he's comfortable with where he is as a player. And so that gives him the right to go back and forth with people on X and do these things because he's comfortable in his skin. He knows who he is. We had a moment where we played him when he was in Golden State, and he told the reporters, you know who I am, right? I'm Kevin Durant. I can go out and score 50 points a game if I want to, but I'm trying to play the right way. And we look back as a team, it's like that was a bold prediction to make and something to say out loud. And sure enough, the very next game, he went out and had 50 points. And Pat Beverly and we had to laugh in the press conference because that's a testament to his greatness. That's who he is. That's who he always be. He's by far one of the easiest scorers in the game to go out and put points out.
It's so pretty. Like when I shot a basketball, it was so pretty like that. I would just walk around doing the form.
It's art. People gave Kyrie Irving a hard time because he said basketball players and athletes are artists. This is an art form. This is something that you go out, you work on, and you do it to the point where you make it look easy. that qualifies as that being an art form. And so he's one of the best artists that we've seen in the history of the game, and he's still building on that legacy.
Where is he on the list of dudes to defend as far as difficulty, do we think?
He's up there. He's up there.
Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, you got to put him up there with the Shaqs of the world, with the Kobes, with the LeBrons, with the MJs, all of these guys that have had signature moves or just put you in a position where no matter what defenses that you throw at them, they're gonna make it a tough night. They're gonna make it difficult for you to game plan against them, and they're just gonna go out. Like I used to say all the time when I was in my run, listen, I got 20 points waking up. Everything I get after that is gonna be a cherry on top. Kevin Durant is one of those guys where he's going to feel like that with 25, 30 points. Every morning Kevin Durant wakes up, I got 25 points on the board already. Anything that I get past that, that's a cherry on top.
Does playing against Kevin Durant the first time stand out like it does, like people that played against KG for the first time? That seems to be a memory for everyone.
Absolutely. My first time for sure. We played, our first time I played against Kevin Durant was in high school.
Oh, wow.
So I played at a regular public school. He was at Oak Hill, and you know, we had only experienced local teams in our neighborhood that we were playing. Our last year, we were a national ranked team. We played in a national schedule. We played Oak Hill out in North Carolina, and I remember Kevin Durant being the center on that team.
Oh, wow.
And in 2003, 2004, you weren't accustomed to guys that tall shooting the basketball. Kevin Durant made the first three-pointers of the game, and I vividly remember walking back to the huddle. My coach called a timeout, and I thought, dang, that's what this Oak Hill-ish is about.
Yeah.
Because your center was shooting three-pointers and making them, and that was my first experience of seeing Kevin Durant play basketball. We won that game, by the way.
Nice.
I would go on record and say that. We did win that game, but that was my first impression of Kevin Durant, and look what it's turned into be.
How tall was he?
He was about 6'8", 6'9".
So he was good. Okay.
He was still there. He was already the Slim Reaper.
Not quite the 7 feet, but still.
He was still there.
That's in the first 3 threes. Yeah, that sounds about right. Love talking about Trae Young here because it's been fun to sort of watch the evolution of Trae Young. He's averaging 12 assists a game. It's been 30 years since somebody averaged 12 a game. That was John Stockton a long time ago. Let's talk passing in the NBA. Is he top?
I wouldn't say Trae Young is the best passer in the NBA. I'm going to say he's the best playmaker in the NBA.
Okay.
Because every time he puts the ball in his hand, he's going to impact scoring every single time. As you can see him. Yeah, like these are just making plays. When I think of passer, I'm thinking fancy passes. I'm thinking the guy pulling the ball back, trying to set up everything. Like, no, he's using his scoring ability to make it difficult for teams to guard him. Like, you got to pick your poison when you're playing Trae Young. Either I'm going to shoot this ball from deep, I'm going to come off this pick and roll, I'm going to use my floater, and if I'm not going to score the basketball, now I got lob threats. Now I got guys that are going to run the lanes, that are going to give me opportunities to get the ball out. So I would say he's one of the best playmakers in the game, not necessarily a passer. A passer is a guy that's going out there and I'm just waiting and I'm setting the table for everybody else. Trae Young is going to score that basketball first. He's going to make plays second, and I think that's what's made this Atlanta Hawks team so dangerous in this season.
I know it's blasphemous to say this out loud since I spend half my time in New York, but I swear that if we get Knicks Hawks series right off the top,
come on over.
it's silly. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll play a little. You buying that? It's Lou. It's me. We'll be back.
Run it back, run it up.
We got some, you buying that? So this top one, this one's interesting to me because we've been down this road before. So SGA says he loves Oklahoma City and that market, no market, I don't care. I love where I am. How do you feel about that sentence? And by the way, he did the smart thing. He didn't say I'm never leaving.
Yep.
Remember when Damian Lillard did that? That did not pan out well. So how do you feel about the market stuff?
I'm agreeing with SGA, and I understand where he's coming from because I don't think he realized that even though OKC is a small market, it's a great market. And I'm gonna give the OKC fan base in their city their flowers. If you've ever played a game in Oklahoma City, that is a fan base that is 100% behind this Thunder team. It's a great place to play basketball. It's a great atmosphere to compete in, and I've never played for the Thunder, so I can only imagine the outpouring of support that they receive in that community, in that city. So for him, he probably feels like he's on top of the world in Oklahoma City based on the things that he and his teammates have been able to accomplish on the floor and what they're building out there in Oklahoma. So for him, he's probably happy there. Like you said, no matter what, this is the place for me. I love where I am. That's a great fan base to play in front of. They respect great basketball. They respect great players, and this has been his experience.
So let's try to put this argument to rest, because, you know, in the broadcasting world, everyone's so obsessed with market size. And people are already complaining the other night that if we get a Cleveland-Oklahoma City finals, it's horrible. It's not, by the way. It would actually be quite fun.
It would be dope.
So stop talking about that. But as players,
yeah.
like, it's one thing to want to go to a city that's cool and fun, and maybe you've got family, what have you, weather, but do you care about actual market size?
Some guys do.
Okay.
Some guys do actually care about that type of thing. They want to be in the markets where you have a lot of media, where they want to grow who they are off the court. They want to grow into those opportunities. You don't see that. You don't see that so much nowadays with some of these guys, but SGA is different. He's going to be himself no matter where he is. You know, he's been in Oklahoma City, played in LA for a year, and he's been there ever since. And he's been able to be a model. He's been able to do fashion. He's been able to be a staple in the fashion community. He's been able to do fashion weeks and all of these things that he cares about, all of these things that he's passionate about. And so it doesn't matter. What matters is how you compete. What matters is you growing your fan base based on the way that you go out there. And first things are first. You're a basketball player first, everything comes after that. If you take care of home, everything else will follow. He's been able to do that in his market. So some guys this matter to, some guys it don't matter whether they play on Mars. If I'm putting up 30 points a game, my fan base and everything that I want to do, it'll follow.
I feel like he's a big fish no matter the pond.
It doesn't matter.
It's a good place to be.
It doesn't matter. He's one of those type of people. It doesn't matter.
Jimmy Butler said he still thinks he's in his prime. Now, just a reminder, he's 35 in his 14th season. You buying that? Prime.
Prime. I'm not buying. Now, what I will say is I feel like Jimmy Butler feels like he still has a lot of great basketball left. And all of us feel like we're in our prime until we have that coming to Jesus moment. So, maybe it's time to look a different direction, you know. But he feels like that. At 35 years old, he feels like he's in his prime. I can't take that away from him. Who am I to have an opinion about how Jimmy Butler feels about Jimmy Butler? But on the outside looking in, from a fan perspective, it looked like his prime is behind him. But it's still a lot of great basketball to play. Now, is Jimmy Butler being in his prime, is he the #1 option on a really good team that can compete for a championship? That's what make guys a prime player to me, in my opinion. And so I don't see Jimmy Butler having that seat anymore in his career. I think he could be a great #2 option or a great 3, or put him on one of these teams where they're top heavy with a lot of star power. And I think he can impact winning in that way. But is Jimmy Butler still the #1 guy on a team? That ain't up for me to decide. But like I said, I'm not buying it.
Okay, not buying it. Got a good one coming up. Brandon Jennings recently called Jayson Tatum the, quote, softest superstar in the league. Now, since then, Tatum's made the quote his Instagram caption, his latest one. Are you buying that players thrive? We switched it a little bit. Are you buying that players can thrive off of negative energy more than they can positive?
Yeah, we're competitors.
Humans do that,
yeah,
I think.
Nobody cares about the accolades and everything, but the moment somebody says something that goes left with you, that's what's going to motivate you. I'm just curious to know what Brandon Jennings' criteria is for that. What makes Jayson Tatum soft? The things that he was able to do in a Game 7, the way that he goes about his business in fourth quarters. What makes him soft? If he was soft, trust me, he would get tried time and time again. You don't see guys going out there and trying Jayson Tatum, trying to ruffle his feathers or trying to box with him or get him off his game. That shows strength to me. You know, if he was a weak guy, people would always question his abilities. People would always go out and challenge him. I don't see this happening to Jayson Tatum. So I'm just curious on what the criteria is for Brandon Jennings in saying that. So, no, I'm not buying.
I mean, I know we've had the discussion. It sounds worse than I mean it to, but people have said boring superstar.
Sure.
Is he using boring and soft?
He's fundamentally sound. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, just that.
He's fundamentally sound. He's a fundamental.
He's not saying crazy things.
He's a fundamental basketball player. He goes about his business and he leaves the court and he comes back. He goes about his business again and he comes back. And those 2 times that he left, he's 2-0. What's soft about that? I don't know. Again, I would just like to know the criteria from where this is coming from. You know, him saying the softest Celtics superstar ever.
Celtics?
I don't know. I don't want to make a case to make anybody softer than that.
What does it mean? It means different things.
I don't know what it means. So no, I'm not buying.
Okay, not buying it. got to get a Pat Beverly one in here, obviously. He suggested, shout out, Lakers fans talk so bad about their own players that they actually decrease their value. Are you buying that?
Ooh.
Interesting.
You know, that's an interesting take. I'm a former Los Angeles Laker. What I will say is this is a city that loves their basketball, and they can be critical at times with the expectations they have. You know,
and unrealistic sometimes with the expectations. Sometimes
unrealistic. This is not a developmental city. This is not one of those cities where we're going to wait and develop talent. This is championship or bust every year, no matter how much talent that you have on the floor. And sometimes those conversations can kind of put expectations on guys that don't necessarily deserve it. So do they decrease their player value? It can go both ways. I've seen guys play on the Lakers, and if you play well for the Lakers, that puts you in a position to make more money in other markets. And I've also seen guys play themselves out of some money because of the criticism on being a Los Angeles Laker. This can go both ways. So I'm gonna buy a sample size. Can I buy a sample size? Can I rig it up a little bit?
Just like tasting it.
Yeah, just a little bit. There's some truths to this, but it can go both ways.
It's kind of an interesting theory because you'd like to think it wouldn't matter, but
yeah,
maybe subconsciously there is an effect on those who are making decisions. So that's interesting to me. Yeah. Kevin Durant called NIKOLA JOKIC a top 10 player all time. Were you buying that?
It's an invisible crown. We love our list. We love our top 10s and our top 5s and who's the best, this and that. This is all subjective.
10's not a lot.
We're just gonna go back and forth, but I can make an argument for him. A lot of people could. I don't know if he makes my personal top 10, but he's for sure one of those guys that's gonna make a huge mark on this league and what he's been able to accomplish, what he's still building out throughout his career. But right now, I for sure got 10 guys in front of him that I feel like have put together better bodies of work. But like I said, we're still talking about guys that are still carving out their lanes. And so I'm not buying today.
A top 10 list is obviously
fluid. I won't buy today.
Every year we add. But he is the king of my world team, so.
Yeah, like it's Shaq, MJ, Kobe, LeBron, Steph Curry.
5.
I'm not even thinking.
Yep. So and those are relatively recent.
And
so.
then the OGs and the old schoolers are going to have something to say. The Bill Russells, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, and all of these guys. It's going to be tough to get them in there undisputed without anybody fighting it.
If you want another championship and another MVP,
I think we start having a different conversation.
Start having it. Okay.
Yeah, I think we start pushing some guys out.
That's where
I think so.
Charles Barkley said that Anthony Edwards has regressed because he's becoming an outside shooter. Too many threes. Are you buying that? I mean, he's kind of in a weird spot.
I don't think he's regressed. I think he's going through some growing pains. He's going through some phases where he's trying to decide who he is as a player. You know, he's still 23 years old. He's figuring it out. You know, this is the first real year where he's been put into a leadership position on leading a team, and you're the undisputed, by far, best player on the team. You know, before he got there, Cat was already there, right? And so now, Cat being gone, this is his team. He's the leader of the organization, and with that, he's come back. He's shooting a little too many threes for my liking as a fan. I would love to see him continue to be that slasher and dunk on people like he just did the young guy the other day in that game. We got accustomed to seeing those plays, and sometimes when you get accustomed to something and you don't see as much of it, it's going to be some pushback on that. I wouldn't say he's regressed. I think he was trying to add to his bag, and he's still trying to find that balance of being a slasher and finding times in the games when he needs to be aggressive, when he's going to attack the rim, opposed to just standing out, shooting three-pointers and putting more pressure on the rim. So regress, I'm not going to give it that. I ain't buying.
No, I think you're right. I think there's some growing pains here because his role has changed because the team has changed. They got to figure all this out. It's all part of this, really. All right, the Knicks, they've lost 3 of their last 4. And, of course, we've reached that point in the season where we're all getting on Tibbs. They're tired. That's the theory here. Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, they're 1 and 2 in minutes played. OG Anunoby is 7th in the league right now. Are you buying that fatigue is a problem here?
Newsflash, everybody's tired right now. Listen, 40 games in, going into that All-Star break, trust me, everybody is tired right now. I just watched a game the other day. I forgot it was a double overtime game with the Kings and My
Why
goodness.
am I drawing a blank?
I'm drawing a blank as well. But both teams were Miami Heat.
Heat.
Both teams were shooting air balls. Like, you can see these guys, they were visibly tired. We're getting to that part of the season where everybody's going to be tired. These are going to be a lot of grit and grind games. These games. Now, these are the games.
I mean, but they're 1 and 2 and 7th in minutes
But
played.
if you're the Knicks, these are the games where you go to your bench. These are the games that you use the guys that you have on your bench to steal 4 or 5 minutes at a time for some of these guys. So are they losing because of fatigue? A lot of teams are losing because of fatigue. I wouldn't put more emphasis on this than usual because they're the Knicks. Like, as much as these guys are tired, they should also be accustomed to the minutes that they are playing. And so
true.
everybody in the league is tired right now, not just the New York Knicks. I ain't buying it.
And that's basically the answer they've been given when asked this question. So it's not them, it's us. We're deciding this for them. Steven Adams called Amen Thompson one of a kind, and he has not seen that type of athleticism. He's, by the way, just as a reminder, played with Russell Westbrook and Ja Morant. So
That's what he's supposed to say.
So you're not buying it?
He's probably the 3rd best athlete he's played with. You know, when he was with Russell Westbrook, Russell Westbrook was the best athlete in the NBA. When he played with Ja Morant was the best athlete in the world. Listen, you got to ride with who you're rolling with, right? Right now, this is the guy that he's rolling with. So he's the best athlete in the NBA to Steven Adams. This is the right thing to say. Hey,
is it good for him? Is it good for Thompson as a young player to like hear something like that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
it gets the morale going, and you have somebody that's as decorated as Steven Adams giving you this compliment. And you have no choice but to go run through a brick wall for the Houston Rockets right now. So, Steven Adams, way to play the mentor game, way to get in his head. Smart thing, I'm buying. Go ahead.
Glad Steven Adams is back out there.
It's cool.
Taking a quick break. When we come back, Ryan Ribeiro going to help us try and make a little money this weekend. We'll be back.
Run it up, run it back, run it up.
Some games that we're going to go ahead and look at for tonight and try to get rich, because, you know, why not? It's never too soon. We're going to welcome in right now from BR Betting. Ryan Ribeiro's back. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me back on.
Of course, of course. So we're gonna go out to Boston for this first one, because you got a team in the Kings that are on a little hot streak, and then obviously Boston's Boston, coming off a win against the Nuggets team, no Jokic, and 5 straight wins since they replaced Mike Brown. So what are we looking at? Is this going to be a close? I mean, 10.5 point spread. What are you thinking?
10.5 is a lot. I don't know if they're going to make it 6 straight wins, but I will say this. For some reason, in the past 2 years, the Boston Celtics have had a hard time doing the thing when the thing is expected of them. And when they are double-digit favorites, they are 10-12 against the spread this year. I know they won the championship last year, so that sounds ridiculous. But as double-digit favorites, they're 10-12 against the spread. On the contrary, the Sacramento Kings have only lost by more than 10 points so far this year, 4 times. Now, we're not talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're not talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are teams that are not accustomed to losing, so they have 5 or 6 losses on the season. The Kings know how to lose a basketball game. They've lost 19 of them this year. They've only lost by more than that total 4 times all season. So give me the Kings plus 10.5.
10.5 is like kind of insulting a little bit.
A little bit, but let's see. This is what starts the conspiracy theories. Like, the players know about the parlays and the spreads and everything. Like, they could care less, but go ahead.
Yeah, right. They're like, we don't. That doesn't matter to us. By the way, are you on the same page? Maybe they don't win, but 10.5 seems like a lot.
10.5 sounds like a lot, but I've seen crazier things happen. You know, even though the record is the record, I think it happens. So I'm rolling.
Win by 30. Player prop. That's my favorite thing of all of this. Fade artist Ryan is up first. What do you got?
I'm undefeated on this show lifetime. I'm 1-0 in my last one. So, yeah, 1-0 in my last one. So, I'm looking to make that 2. Derek White under 4.5 assists.
Under.
This number has hit to the under 9 out of his last 10 games. I also believe the Boston Celtics are playing their best basketball when you've got the Jays driving to the hoop or just drawing that attention, kicking out, seeing him on the three-point line, him knocking shots down. They are best when the other guys are scoring a lot. Derek White coming off a game where he scored 11 points in Denver, like you had mentioned. They won that game. I think they are at their best when he is scoring and not passing. And again, in their last 10, the under has hit 9 times.
Okay.
So I'll take 90%.
9 out of 10, not bad.
Okay, here we go.
Safe bet.
There's a fun game coming up. Thunder Knicks. They're in New York this time. This one's awesome. Thunder coming off a rare loss. It was to the Cavs. I mean, it's not too upsetting. We just talked about how the Knicks are all tired. 3.5-point favorite right now for who? For the Thunder? Ooh, how are we feeling about this one?
Okay.
I'm feeling like I'm not going to take the points with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll just take the money line.
Okay.
I do not like taking favorites with the points when the number is that low. You had mentioned before the Knicks lost 3 of their last 4. I understand, Lou. Everyone is tired. I think when Tibbs is your head coach, you're maybe a little more tired.
Just a smidge.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Also, the Thunder, coming off a tough loss in Cleveland, I think they bounced back. They're also 9-5-1 against the spread as a road favorite this year. So if you do like the points with the Thunder and you're saying -164, that's a little too rich for my blood. They're 9-5-1 against the spread as a road favorite.
Maybe I missed it. Where is this game tonight?
It's in New York.
It's going to be a good one. I'll tune in. But I like OKC still.
Moneyline OKC as well. Yeah, fine. I'll take New York. I'll be the one that takes New York.
But that's a good bet for you, even if you like New York.
I do like New York.
Yeah,
thank
that's
you,
a good
Lou.
bet.
Yeah, thank you. Let's put we're going to do a little parlay together. So you know what, Ryan, don't be mad at us if our legs fail, but we're going to try anyway. So you get the first 2 picks, and we've combined. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got Josh Hart, 8+ rebounds, 8 of his last 10. This number has hit. You never have to worry about Josh Hart crashing the board. He will be there, 8+ rebounds. And then Jalen Williams, 4+ assists. You see -460. I apologize for that. But this number has hit in 10 of his last 10. You're getting 100% hit rate in his last 10 games. I'll take that as a nice little free piece to this parlay.
Yeah, but -460. Look, I'm not that much better today because I usually like to go big, and I didn't today. I'm doing Isaiah Hartenstein to record a double-double, and -135 there. But the good news for both of us, Ryan, is that Lou's here. Lou likes to go big.
There we go.
Listen, Ryan, I'm a home run hitter. I like to swing for the fences.
I love it.
So I like Cat, the big bodega, to get 30+ tonight. 33 to be specific.
You are so weird.
I am a specific bettor.
Gosh.
I'm a prop guy. I'm one of those bet $100.
It's my favorite.
Win 20 grand type of guys. That's how I like to bet.
I'm the same guy, Lou. I'm the same guy.
There you have it.
But I think you're probably more wise about, like, we really. I'm the idiot that does plus 40,000 on NFL Sunday. Like, this will definitely hit today. I can feel it.
You gotta try it. You gotta try it.
You got a couple futures bets for us?
I do. One of them being the Memphis Grizzlies to win the Western Conference. I believe that number is 10-1 right now. Ooh. I like this Memphis Grizzlies team. I know OKC has kind of flexed their muscles as like the team to beat in the Western Conference, but the Grizzlies have the 4th best plus-minus in the league. They're a young team. I really do think that the Marcus Smart acquisition is kind of starting to pay off for them. I think there's that veteran leadership that they needed there. It kind of comes down to, I trust Taylor Jenkins. TBD.
That's a good one.
I don't know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like the Memphis Grizzlies to win the West.
And then you got Sixers. Oh, that's like a -1. Okay.
Yeah. Sixers to miss the playoffs. The fact that this is still plus money to me is a little wild. I'm not going to break any news to anybody. They're not playing good basketball.
They're not,
It's just the other stuff that's going on in Philadelphia that I think could fall apart pretty soon. Now, listen, I'm a New Jersey, New York guy, so you're never going to get me to talk good about Philadelphia.
Fair.
Okay.
So maybe I'm a little biased there. Yeah, there's a little bit of context there. But I don't like what's going on in Philly. I love Tyrese Maxey. I think they got some stuff to figure out with Joel Embiid there.
How you feeling about these?
I'm not crazy about the Sixers one, but if I'm a betting man, I can understand where this can jump out at you as a safe bet, where you feel like your money is in a good spot right there.
I think so.
I absolutely don't think the Grizzlies will win the West. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are probably going to be the favorites to do that. I do think the Grizzlies will make a deep playoff run, but to make it out and get to the championship, I don't see that happening right now.
Plus 1,000 though. Why not?
Yeah, but why not?
Yeah, why
Again,
not?
I'm a home run hitter. Why not?
Give it a shot.
Just a little something on it.
Yeah.
Ryan, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. We will talk soon, sir. And we will be back in a moment to wrap things up.
Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back.
Fashion Friday, Fitter Brick Friday. Why not? SGA, we just talked about the fashion and modeling and all the good stuff. So he's a staple in Fitter Brick, and today is no different.
You hear that, Beadle? our groove.
I mean, it is Friday.
It is our groove.
All right, let me see it, because I think it's yes, this is comfortable and lovely.
I'm a comfort guy, so I'm gonna give this a fit. I probably will wear this exact same ensemble, especially on a travel day. This looks like a travel day. This is probably on the runway, getting on the plane.
It does look like it.
Yep.
The shoes dress it up. The bag's nice.
Shoes dress it up. Got to keep the braids sharp so the do-rag is on.
Smart, smart. By the way, do you remember, like, everyone had to wear suits once? Does that not feel like completely faded from memory?
Once upon a time, everybody did have to wear suits, myself included. It was a big time hassle having to carry that suit bag everywhere.
And there's that.
Especially for long road trips. But then we just started getting smart. You'll pack 1 or 2 suits and just a bunch of shirts.
That's a good point.
That was
Did you have many suits?
I absolutely hated it. But yes, I still have a lot of those suits.
Okay.
And still oversized to this day, by the way.
Of course they
Because
are.
of the era, because of the time that we were in. I probably got a lot of suits that I can't even fit, so.
We're gonna do dress-up days for sure.
We should.
Yes. All right, next time you're out here, bring a bunch of suits.
Let's do it.
Tyrese Halliburton in this particular segment is hit or miss a lot. So
I like this one.
I don't hate this.
I like this one. He loves his fur, I tell you that.
He really loves that.
Every time, yeah, he's a lot of Lenny Kravitz, Drake energy right here.
No offense to
We're
Tyrese
talking about the
Halliburton.
clothes. We're talking about the clothes. We're talking about the clothes. No
One
Lenny
of one,
Kravitz?
one of one Lenny Kravitz is. Nobody touches Lenny Kravitz.
But Lenny Kravitz would wear this outfit.
Yeah, but he's Lenny Kravitz. He would pull everything off.
Lenny Kravitz-esque. You heard Lenny Kravitz and stop listening.
It's like, it's just, but look at, okay, fine, I won't be rude. Fine, yeah, it's all right.
Would Lenny Kravitz wear this?
He wouldn't wear the pants, because he'd have leather pants on. We all know this for a fact.
This is a fit.
Yes.
This is a fit for Tyrese Halliburton.
I like the jacket. I'd wear the jacket.
All Lenny aside, this is a fit.
Yeah. All right, Pascal Siakam, what do you got? I mean, it's a very casual edition.
I like this one.
I
like this fit as well. This is something I probably would wear. Yellow probably isn't my color, but the style,
Not your,
the comfort,
not your
the
yellow.
joggers, the hoodie,
Yeah.
the glasses with the hat. This is Louisville style. I like this. This is a fit for me.
I like the hoodie.
3-0 right now. I'm loving it, guys. I know they're gonna throw us a curveball here.
Something's coming.
Yeah,
but it's not gonna be
something's on the
Devin. Devin Booker's pretty conservative in the fashion realm, isn't he?
Here we go.
Ooh, wintertime.
Okay, he looks like a hitman.
Well, the pants are a little loud for a hitman.
For a hitman, the pants are a little loud.
But
he's hiding in plain
got the
sight.
gloves,
right
got the.
Is that a blazer? Is that a blazer like jacket?
It's like a
type?
blazer jacket over the hoodie. I do love a blazer over a hoodie. I'm not gonna lie.
What's your vote?
Kind of odd.
What's your vote? I don't know.
I don't like the
know if I love
pants.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a car wash guy.
Excuse me?
The car
That is rude. That's the rudest thing you've ever said on the show. He looks cash and He's got a book. By the way, you can tell he reads the book because the pages are a little like ruffled up.
That's a lot.
And Jeremy in the back wearing shorts. We got a lot going on here. It's a double whammy. You know what? I don't like you anymore. We are no longer friends.
That's a fit.
Be
But
safe,
it's
everyone.
A brick at the same
We'll be back on Monday. He looks so comfy. I love it. Do those have to be specially made?
Run it up, run it back, yeah, run it up, run it